Alright guys, today I put together a budget squad for under 100,000 coins. Because I know not everyone has, a million coins day one or even the first week of MUT. You go in, you do your solo challenges, and as I talked about in my video earlier today, you should not be holding on to any card. You should be selling every card pretty much and just waiting to buy them back once rookie premieres come out. So with that being said, while you're holding on or you're waiting, obviously, to buy your team back, this could be a good chance to try out some budget options. Now, these are just put together in order to make it under 100,000 coins, and these are my best options at these single positions when it comes to budget-friendly options. My budget-friendly options is I like to keep the card within at least below 8,000 coins. I think that's a realistic expectation. My goal range, though, is under 4,000 coins, and most of these cards are under 4,000 coins. So for the quarterback, I chose Marcus Mariota. He does have 79 speed, which is very nice and helps you out immensely when it comes to, getting out of the pocket, maybe take off running a little bit. Not too many defenders day one in this early part of MUT are going to be that crazy fast, so it's nice to have a little bit of speed at the quarterback position. He also has 77 throw power, which, let's be honest, is not the most ideal in the world, but it's still usable, especially, again, at this time in MUT. He does have 75 throw short, 69 throw middle, and 68 throw deep. So he has enough to, make those short throws, drag routes, slant routes, out routes, stuff like that. You're not going to be throwing, 60-yard passes with this guy, obviously with his throw power, but he's able to complete what you need to short and gets the job done. Now, I spent a lot on both of my running backs, and the reason why is because, listen, both these guys have really good speed. At the end of the day, Miller here has the same exact speed as the best running back in the game right now, which is Stevenson. They both have 85 speed. Now, they don't have the same stats outside of that, but again, 85 speed is really, really good this early on. He's also only 5,400 coins, which is actually very obtainable. And of course, he does come in with 74 trucking and 54 catching. So again, like I said, very obtainable, and the price tag is actually not that crazy. The second guy I have here is actually around the same price tag, 5,000 coins. And he does come in with 78 speed, but he's way less than 5,000 coins. I think he's like 3,400 coins. But he has 78 speed, which isn't the greatest, but he does come in here with 80 trucking. So I want to use him in, kind of situations like short yardage situations, maybe goal line looks, where you don't really need to have the craziest speed in the world, but you're going to be able to just go ahead and give it to him and bulldoze your way for a couple extra yards. For the receivers, I went with purely speed, and I'll be honest, that's really what I looked for. I also looked for catching, though, because I do want to have my receivers have some actual hands to them, so they're not just dropping wide open catches. He does have 71 catch in traffic and 72 spec catch, which is very, decent, and his route running overall isn't horrendous. Our second guy we have here is going to be Chosen Anderson here. Again, 83 speed, very nice. He also has a lot better catching stats than the last guy we looked at, and a lot better route running. So I kind of wanted to maybe go all out and ball out on one player. Again, Chosen Anderson here is still less than like 7,000 or 8,000 coins. But for a budget, I wanted to ball out because he does have some pretty decent stats, and he can be your number one receiver. Put him in the slot, wherever you want to put him, he could be your number one receiver. Next guy we have here is just a speed demon. That's pretty much all this is. Recommendation would be you can use Anthony Schwartz here for a streak routes. You can also use him for end arounds, trick plays, or kick and punt returns, which is always nice. For tight end, I went with someone who's a little bit of both. He does have really good catching at 81, good speed at 81. He also has 61 run block, which isn't really that horrendous when the best run blockers in the game right now have 70. So this actually is a pretty decent option for that said reason. He also has good spec catch. So overall, a pretty solid tight end. And again, his price tag is sitting roughly around like 3,000 to 4,000. So it's not that bad. For my offensive line, here's how I broke it down. On the tackles, I went with pass block. So, for example, my man here has 77 pass block. He costs pretty much nothing, and that's what I wanted to go ahead and go with. Whenever I'm building a budget offensive line, how I look at it is I go pass blockers, my left and right tackle, because I want my blind side and my right side protected, and I go for the center and the 2 guards to be run blockers. I do want to have as good as awareness as possible in my center, but again, like I said, that is all things, I'm looking for right there. 76 pass block on him, and he also does have 74 run block, which is not horrendous. Again, for my guards, I'm looking for run block, so 74 pass block, and he does have 77 run block. Same thing with my other guard, he has 77 run block, and he has 73 pass block. For my center, again, like I said, 79 awareness. I love it. I want it. 79 run block, and he does, of course, have 74 pass block, which is serviceable. Going to defense now. Let's look at my secondary. So starting off right away, my free safety, 82 speed, pretty solid, 74 man, 70 man, 74 zone, very, very usable. I like to use my safeties, so usually what I do is I choose one of the 2 safeties, free safety or strong safety, and I end up saying, okay, that's the guy I'm going to use here, so the hit power doesn't really matter too much. But what I like to do is the other guy I'm not using, I do focus more on the hit power. So 81 hit power right here, 82 speed, 73 zone, and 62 man. I kind of went more for zone for him because I'm going to be leaving him by himself, and he's going to be just covering the field all around. Now, for my middle linebackers, these 2 guys are just user items. So, for example, this is one of the best users in the game right now, mainly because he does have 83 speed, and he costs 2,400 coins. So, very easy, very obtainable, and again, like I said, I'm just using these 2 guys for speed. If I want to use them as a linebacker, then I can sub these guys in my 3-3-5 look. Personally speaking, I don't use middle linebackers, so that's why these guys are perfect options. If you do use middle linebackers or you want to use one, these are also very viable options. For my outside linebackers from the left and right, again, I'm looking for speed mainly. Now, when it comes to other stats like block shed, it's nice to have this guy who has 78 block shed with 79 speed and 75 tackle. My other guy over here has 80 speed, which again, very nice, and not really anything else too crazy stat-wise. But again, like I said, I'm going to be okay with that because I need to put quarterback spies up if I go against someone who has a mobile quarterback. So having a guy I can just put as a guaranteed spy is always nice, and 80 speed is very good. Alright, so for my cornerbacks, my first cornerback here has 83 speed, he has 73 man and 62 zone. He also has 79 jumping and 84 agility, and how I'm kind of looking at this when it comes to corners is, yes, I want speed, but I also want some diversity in my cornerbacks. I want some with the archetype man-to-man and some with zone. The reason why I say this is because, again, sometimes you might have to run man coverage. Sometimes you might have to run zone coverage, right? So you want to be able to switch up your defense. If you have all guys on your defense who are budget beasts, but are all zone coverage guys, what happens when you have to run man coverage? You're going to get absolutely toasted roasted. So with that being said, this is where, for example, Michael Carter is a great example for a zone corner, 83 speed and 70 zone with 62 man and 62 press. For our last guy we have here, I kind of went all out. He is 4,000 coins, which is expensive for this budget series, but 85 speed, 84 acceleration with 66 man and 64 zone. So not the greatest coverage stats, but he's going to be able to cover someone. If I'm going against someone online and they're just simply streaking me every single play and destroying me deep, I want to have someone that I can actually cover with. Now for the defensive line, we do have just purely block shed. And that's what I like to do on my defensive line, especially early on. That's why I have linebackers with good speed. Because I want to have good speed on linebackers so my ends aren't the liability when they don't have that good, speed on the ends. And that's why, again, like I said, for all my ends, 71 speed but 78 block shed. This guy has 49 speed, but he has, he has 76 block shed. Same thing with my defensive tackle. He's going to have 54 speed, but he's going to have 79 block shed. So again, for those guys, I'm just looking for, good block shed. Because how I like to run my defense, and I know a lot of people like to, and I would suggest this early on, is use your linebackers as your pass rushers. Use your ends and your D-tackle as your run stoppers or the guys in the middle that's going to shut down the insides, right? Because again, at the end of the day, you're going to have to give up something. At the end of the day, you're either going to give up speed, you're going to give up block shed, or you're going to give up, crazy good stats, right? You have to give up something. If you want speed, you're not going to get good block shed. If you want good block shed, you're not going to get good speed. It's kind of the balances of everything. So guys, that's less than 100K lineup you can build today for your ultimate team. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys next one. Peace out.